Welcome to another edition of Darkness in Dublin, Mage Edition, Evan Edition. Um, this scene takes place near, I guess, the Dublin Police Department, unless there's a name for it, where Liam Saltmore, after sleeping off his mind blast from last night, um, has taken it upon himself to go searching for Sergeant O'Coolan. He pulls up in his graphite gray Alfa Romeo Spider, looking very dapper, with either like some Adele or some Amy Winehouse just belting out some kind of ballad as he parks in the parking lot of the police department. And after his little run around in the rain last night, uh, he did actually grab a black umbrella from Gravedigger's club before he left. So he opens the umbrellas, he gets out of the car, and he locks it. And he just kind of lazily lays it on his shoulder and strolls up. He's dressed basically just how he is in the picture, and he strolls up to the gate, or the front door of the police department, opens it up, and heads over to the front desk, where he asks the officer at the front desk for Sergeant O'Cullen, and tells him it's about it's about the warehouse at Dock 43B or 42B, whatever it was in the last scene. I forget, out of character. It's 40 something B.
Well, we don't know anything about a Doc case, but he's outside on the side under the patio smoking.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, my good man. And Saltmore will go out to the patio and look for the man who he saw die last night.
Well, he's sitting there smoking a cigar, just kind of like lazing around.
All right. So I guess the patio is probably covered, right? Like it's under some kind of like pavilion or
Yeah,
something.
it's under an awning. That way,
Yeah.
the police officers can smoke in peace.
All right, cool. So I'll sit down at the. I assume there's more than one bench, so I'll sit down at like either an adjacent bench or the bench across from Sergeant O'Cullen. And
Let's say across for ease, because I can't really see under this awning on Google Maps.
Okay. So yeah, sit across from each other. He produces from his breast pocket a little like leather case, which has like room for two cigars. One of the cigars is already gone. There's the second cigar in the little case, which he taps out of the case, clips the end off of, and like smells it for a second, and then puts it in his mouth. He reaches into his other breast pocket, and he produces another little wooden box and a golden little Zippo flip lighter. It's gold plated, and it has maybe like his family crest, the crest of the Saltmore family, etched into the side, like laser etched. He bought it at the mall or something, got it engraved. And he lights the lighter, and then he opens the little box, and he takes out a little chip of wood, basically, and lights that with the lighter, and uses the burning piece of wood to light his cigar. And then he like shakes it out and flicks it off into a puddle, and returns his leather case and his Zippo to his pocket, and takes a couple of savoring drags off what smells to be a very good quality cigar. I assume since you're a police detective, you're pretty observant. You would notice that the sticker around it is the Cohiba brand.
Well, the officer just sits there and he's just smoking, nods to you.
I'll nod back.
Nice
Um,
cigar.
and then, oh yes, thank you. It's hard to find people who appreciate proper cigars these days.
Everyone wants everything fast now and in a hurry. I understand.
Indeed. I must say, you're looking well.
Well as one can be expected in this rain.
Yes, or after the grievous wound that you received last night.
He just looks at you and like cocks an eyebrow. The only wound I have, sadly, is to my pride, as we have not caught the killer. And he's just like eyeing you very, very closely.
Oh, forgive me. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Liam Saltmore.
Neil Saltmore, is it?
Liam.
Liam. Well then, uh, I suppose you already know who I am.
Why, yes, I've seen you on the television, and also last night at the warehouse at Dock 42B, 43B, whatever it was.
41B.
41B.
Oh, and how? And he's like, you can obviously tell because he is not trying to use subterfuge that he is reaching into a pocket now and is holding something. So, you were there then, were you?
Mm. I was there a good deal after you had already departed.
Then you saw the hidden BDSM equipment that is being smuggled into the country then. Yes? He gives you a very hard look.
He looks a little bit confused. I did see that there were some crates that were removed and a great deal of blood. And after some review, I was able to ascertain what happened to you last night. And I must say, I am quite intrigued as to how you are still alive.
It was just a slip. I just slipped and hit my head. And with one hand, he's now pointing up and behind him to a camera that is on the wall.
Um, he nods and continues
Head,
puffing the
head
cigar.
wounds do bleed quite a bit, but it was just a fall.
So then you were at the docks investigating a murder, then?
Oh no, no, no. I was given information that people are smuggling in expensive, rare, and possibly illegal for our country BDSM equipment.
I know, but I heard that you said that you wish you had caught the killer. Which killer?
Oh, Smiling Jack. Still haven't found him yet.
Hmm. A shame.
If you wish, we can get in my car and drive to one of the gentlemen's clubs nearby where we can smoke in peace. It is kind of drafty and cold out here.
I know the perfect gentleman's club. And I'll give him the business card to Gravediggers Club.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, all right then. Shall we leave here and meet up there
Yes,
then so that we speak?
absolutely. I will see you there. And he gets up and he continues puffing the cigar. And he goes and gets into his car and drives over to Gravediggers.
Sergeant Michael, being thoroughly confused and quite paranoid, checks himself to make sure he has his snub nose 38 on him, His knife stick is in like the jacket, inside jacket, and he's going to go over in his personal car.
All right, so before you would have arrived, Liam would have told the doorman Rufus um, that he was expecting um, Sergeant Michael O'Cullen, and he's met you before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I will tell him just to go to send you down to one of the like lower level rooms where it's just like a bunch of black velvet curtains and comfortable leather couches and like a fireplace.
Well, he goes and he sits down on one of the leather couches, still smoking.
Yeah, as is Saltmore. Well, doesn't seem you've had any trouble finding the place.
No, I was here last night investigating when a certain man here, pale skin, weird clothing style, told me to go to a certain place where I was shot in the head.
Interesting. Well, that man is my very good friend and tutor, Mr. Gravedigger. Uh, Theatrical name I know, but it's the only one he uses.
I should warn you, however, that if he is caught up in the murdering of police officers, that soon it will be Bob's bitch.
Quite the opposite, I must assure you. He sent me to the warehouse also to investigate another murder.
Do go on. Who's been murdered there this time?
Mr. Albrecht Mons. Uh,
You can see like his eyes like pinhole and then go back wide as if he really knows this person
so
quite
you know
well.
him
Why, yes, I pulled him off a wall that he was crucified to.
Yes, this is exactly the case I'm referring to. I am also making inquiries.
Well, I have on good authority, that being first-hand evidence, that he was crucified to a wall, his tongue removed, and the crucifixion nails used were in an ancient Hebrew dialect, and it was scripture.
Interesting. Were those nails and any other paraphernalia from the scene recovered?
Oh, yes, they are all in the police station now.
Good, good. Uh, don't suppose I could get a look at them. Under supervision, of course.
I don't see how I would go about doing that at the moment. After all,
Eh,
you were just a wealthy businessman, and this is a powder keg, let's just say, because it looks like um, the Catholics and the Protestants are killing each other again.
let us dispense with the formalities and smoke and mirrors, Sergeant O'Cullen. I saw you have your head blown apart um, and then stitch yourself back together with a glowing light. And I also was able to get a very good description of your assailant. I'll pull out my notepad where I have a sketch of the mask with the teardrop, and also written next to it is the brand of the boot from boot prints that were discovered at the scene, the size of them, and that they are military issue and they're women's boots.
Very interesting. I wasn't able to glean that much, but then again, I was busy
Being
arguing
resurrected
with
from the
death.
dead via magical means, but for lack of a better term.
I'm not sure that I know that it was magical. I clearly outwitted death somehow.
But how then, after outwitting death, did you manage to stitch your blown apart head back together?
Well, if I outwitted death, then I can't die, and therefore I would have to be alive.
very simplistic way of thinking of it, I suppose. However, hmm, let me see. Um, he's going to go over. He's gonna. All right. So he takes a two pennies out of his wallet, right?
Okay.
Kind of like rubs the two pennies together. He drops one penny into um, a bottle of like mid-tier rum. Um,
Okay.
and then he takes a glass from out behind the bar, puts it at the opposite side of the bar, drops the other penny into that glass. Um, and then he instructs you to stare at the penny inside the inside the bottle.
All
And
right.
I guess I'll make a roll for it.
Go for it.
The pennies are the foci. What do you think the difficulty is? Like four?
For a
I'm
level two
doing
effect, yeah,
I'm
it'd
doing
only be four.
I'm doing a correspondence matter thing. I'm gonna
What's the
roll
highest sphere?
three.
Oh, so it'd be difficulty six, unless you're spending quintessence or using a personalized foci.
Um, I guess I don't know if it would be three or two, but whatever. Let's just say it's three. Whatever. Diff six. No big. All right, two successes. Cool. So, as you're looking at the penny in the bottle, you see that like around the edges of the penny, um, little bubbles start to form, and then like they start bubbling more and more, and then like big bloop 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 bubbles start coming up out of the middle of the penny, like or just like basically from out. It looks like they're coming from under the penny, but you notice very slightly the level of alcohol in the bottle starts to like lower. And as it keeps
Okay.
bloop, 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 blooping, he slides the other glass across the bar towards you. And you can see that from underneath that penny, it seems like liquid is pouring out and the glass is filling with rum.
He obviously goes and looks behind the bar. There are no like tubes or anything connecting them, are there?
Nope, he even like picks the cup up and it still keeps filling and he hands it over to you.
This is rather strange and disconcerting to say the least.
There are forces. I'm surprised that you've spoken to Mr. Gravedigger and he didn't reveal any of this information to you, but there are forces in this world that, through the proper application of knowledge and force of will, can be manipulated to achieve, some may say, I suppose, unusual effects. But it's all really just knowing the connection between things and using your own spiritual essence, I suppose, to strengthen those bonds, thereby taking the liquid from around one penny and transferring it to another.
He is just looking at this.
What you did
This
when your head knitted itself back together after being shot was a much more potent and different kind of force manipulation. You were able to manipulate your own life essence and the tissues in your body to go far beyond that of a normal human's uh, healing factor. and force a grievous wound to become a non-life threatening one. You can learn to harness that power so that you can control when and what type of effects you're able to force into being. People with this ability are referred to by others in the know as will workers.
So what are you saying? I'm some kind of mage or warlock?
Well, you spoke to death, yes?
Of course. I'm a good Catholic boy.
Describe death to me and the first time you spoke to him.
Well, I was sitting in a pillar of light, and Death was a shrouded, hooded figure, um, sitting on a black oaken chair with a traditional scythe behind him.
And when this was only the once that you met death,
Yes, I've only died the once.
it is not uncommon for those imbued with the ability to manipulate reality to have that power manifest itself inside them through a totem image. For you, it would seem the traditional Grim Reaper uh, is how your avatar is manifesting itself.
I highly doubt that, as Death was trying to tear away my life energy. It nearly succeeded in doing so.
Yes, well, avatars can be very demanding. Mine is quite hungry most of the time, thankfully for inanimate objects.
Well, um, there also is the fact that the bright light of God was shielding me from, or a God, I should suppose, was shielding me from death's hateful embrace.
It is funny that you should say a god. It is more of an astute statement than you know. There are many great forces at work in the universe, and sometimes those great forces take an interest in a corporeal mortal form, such as you or I. And through us, they are able to physically manifest the great amount of power that they have incorporeally out in the ether. It is through being favored by these beings that we are able to force our will, and by extension, their will, into being in this world.
So you speak of something like the Haitian Loa, those poor ridden creatures.
No, far greater than that and far less easy to comprehend. I don't think that they could. It is very up to debate whether they are entities at all with any sort of sentience as we know it. However, there are definite cosmic forces that can be tapped into. Some mages, as you say, label them the spheres. These are just representations of certain forces of power that exist in the universe and can be tapped into by those who have the knowledge. In order to gain the knowledge, you must do much research or be tutored by someone with a greater understanding of those spheres than yourself. I myself have been taught a great deal of things by Gravedigger. It is often best for a newly awakened mage to find a group of like minded individuals to help them to bring their powers to fruition.
While you're talking, he starts staring at you like just incredibly hard-eyed and as if like questioning whether you're selling the truth or not. And that is going to be one of his. And he's doing this unconsciously because he doesn't actually understand magic.
Mm-hmm.
But he is using a rote, and um, I know you're not lying to me, correct?
Right.
So he can sense that.
Okay.
But you could, if you can see magic being done, then you can tell that something just popped off as he was staring at you.
No, not really. I don't have any sights for that.
Okay.
Unless like correspondence sight in some way would work. Probably not. Maybe
Eh.
maybe I would sense that he built up a connection to me or something. I don't really know.
Yeah, he connected to your mind for a second, and
Yeah.
it's like and like a little red or green light
Oh,
appeared, and it
well,
turned
also I
green.
got mind blasted. I got mind blasted last night, so maybe I would notice that feeling that I get from
Yeah,
being mind. Yeah. All right. So he just kind of
probably.
like he presses his fingers to his temple and he says, "Yes, that is one of the spheres that I am not at all versed in, affecting those of others' minds. However, I did notice a great deal of it present at that scene where you were murdered.
That's be that's because the killer or my killer said that it wasn't personal, and I told him it was just business.
Yes, I noticed. I watched the
That
whole thing transpire.
perhaps she left some kind of auditory or ghostly image behind to mess with anything that tried to see into the past.
Well, that would be. I can confirm that. And you can actually notice since he hasn't been home to bathe yet since last night, he's got a little bit of blood encrusted in one of his ears,
Hmm.
like as if his ears were bleeding. I think that perhaps when you have time, you should come and speak uh, with Gravedigger and I again. And perhaps we can put you on the path to learning to control your abilities. And you could be a great asset to both the mortal world and ours.
I would not put me and Gravedigger in the same room until I know for certain that he did not know what was in that place.
Well, that is something you will most likely never be certain of. I have been studying under Gravedigger for many years, and I still don't know what goes through his mind or why he dresses like that. He
I
has the
believe
money to look good, he just doesn't use it.
I
Or
believe
he
it
uses
is
it to look.
because he's into the BDSM crowd from everything that I've seen.
I'm not very familiar with such things. I know that they go on in this uh, in this place, but not in any of the rooms that I have ever entered.
This place has a very strange reputation among the general populace. So
It was likely will workers that crucified Mr. Mons to the wall, and it was certainly will workers who slayed you and prevented me from seeing what was in those crates. Do you know what's happened to the crates?
no, I do not.
I think that it is in both the interest of myself and the constabulary to find these crates and locate Mr. Mons's killer. I am very influential in the shipping business, which was how I was able to find the warehouse and gain access so easily. Uh, I may be indispensable for consultation work uh, during this case. If you need anything, he produces a business card and hands it to you. This is my personal business card. You can give me a call.
All right. And he'll take it and put it into a breast pocket. Perhaps I shall have you as a part-time consultant for me that may get you inside the police office without anyone questioning why you're there.
Yes, and perhaps then we could revisit the topic of a supervised look at the evidence.
All right, well then, I suppose I must take your word for all of this for the time being.
Would you like me to show you something else?
No, I simply must take your word that for it that you have my best interests at heart.
Well, forgive me. I have the best interests of my employer and Mr. Mons at heart. Though I do think that you will be indispensable with helping me crack this case, and vice versa.
I suppose getting this case done and out with would allow me to go back to living a normal life.
Yes, normal, quite. Do you have like a phone number or a business card or
Yeah,
something?
he's like looking through his pockets and he pulls out a little leather um looks like a tiny black book. He pulls out a business card and hands it to you. It's got Sergeant Michael Cullen. It's got his private number, the police station where he works at, as well as his private office number.
All right, cool. Um, in that case, he'll take it and he'll get up and say, "Forgive me. Um, I am sure you can find your way out, but I must return to my home and wash the blood from my ears."
Seems rather quaint as he's like has been trying not to say anything about it.
Yes, well, sometimes these things happen when you are attacked by strong mind magic.
Well, then, as he stands up, I will bid you a good day, and I shall see you soon as the paperwork clears.
All right, right. I guess we can end the scene right now.
Okay.
But I want to do a magic effect, uh, like on the business card that I've given you,
Alrighty.
if that's cool with you.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. It'll probably be diff 6. But basically, he's using correspondence and matter to like track where that business card is going.
Go for it.
All right. All right. One success.
Woo! It worked.
Nice. All right. So we'll end the scene there. Thank you for watching. Big Fish.